This is the AEW Dynamite August 13, 2025 full show results video, which takes place at the Andrew Brady Music Center in Cincinnati. The show opened with MJF perched on the turnbuckle, mic in hand, as Hangman Adam Page entered to confront him. MJF claimed they were AEW's Day One homegrown stars, him the antagonist, Page the main character, and vowed to anger Page so much that he'd lose his title in his first pay-per-view defense. Page dismissed him, saying MJF hadn't earned a title shot or declared his Casino Gauntlet contract cash-in. If MJF wasn't here to do either, he should leave and live knowing he lacked the guts to challenge the champion. MJF fired back, calling Page a weak-minded, depressed alcoholic and a false idol, vowing to expose him at Forbidden Door. Page countered that MJF wouldn't cash in because he was afraid and wanted backup. Urging him to go all in, Page dared him to take the shot. Provoked, MJF blurted that he'd execute the contract at Forbidden Door, only to immediately regret it as the crowd chanted "You fucked up." Page accepted, calling him a dumbass. MJF ended the segment throwing a tantrum, kicking ropes, and stomping in frustration. It was a heated, personal promo battle that turned verbal jabs into a confirmed title clash for Forbidden Door. Death Riders are on some steps outside the arena, and Jon Moxley waves the camera over and tells Darby Allin that whatever he thinks is happening at Forbidden Door isn't happening, and he and Marina Shafir and Wheeler Yuta make their way into the arena and make their entrance through the crowd. Then we saw a match between Jon Moxley versus Kevin Knight. Kevin Knight and Jon Moxley battled in a fast-paced, hard-hitting match. Knight's athletic offense, dropkicks, a superplex, and a slingshot plancha kept Moxley reeling, while Mox answered with brawling strikes and ruthless tactics, including eye rakes and a gotch piledriver attempt. Interference from Wheeler Yuta briefly distracted Knight, allowing Moxley to counter the UFO splash with knees up. Locking in a Darce choke on the mat, Moxley forced Knight to submit, securing a gritty victory. After Moxley's win, Death Riders tried to dish out a post-match beatdown, but Darby Allin stormed in with a body bag and skateboard, trapping Wheeler Yuta. Claudio Castagnoli intervened, attacking Darby and delivering a brutal hands-free UFO spin before Yuta prepared a chair assault. Will Ospreay made a shocking save, taking out Claudio and blasting Yuta with a hidden blade. Ospreay vowed revenge on Moxley, promising to meet him in London with backup. The segment ended with the dramatic reveal, "Lights out, steel cage." The next match happened between Alex Windsor, Queen Aminata, and Willow Nightingale versus Mercedes in Triangle of Madness. The match began with Windsor and Sky Blue exchanging early counters before tags brought in Aminata and Mercedes. The action broke down as Triangle Gals tried to interfere, but Alex cleared them out. Mercedes hit an inverted stomp facebreaker, leading into the break. Afterward, Willow Nightingale dominated with a missile dropkick, Death Valley driver, and big corner offense. Chaos erupted as each woman hit signature moves, Aminata's Fisherman neckbreaker, Windsor's Blue Thunder driver, and multiple headbutts. Windsor locked in the sharpshooter on Blue, forcing the submission. Alex Windsor, Queen Aminata, and Willow Nightingale stood tall with a decisive victory. Post-match, Athena attacks Toni Storm in a skybox and they brawl out through the crowd. In the ring, Mercedes attacks Windsor, crossface strikes, Athena comes to the ramp, Storm right behind her, Alex lays Mercedes out, and the babyfaces stand tall. Toni gets on the mic and says the heels can take the high road, and they'll take the low road, and they'll do it in Scotland. She hopes they're wearing something under their kilts or she'll bareback them all the way to Glasgow. Backstage, Will Ospreay reveals he arranged a match without Tony Khan's approval and recruited Hiroshi Tanahashi to join him and Darby Allin for Forbidden Door. He says he's okay and asks Renee to see if her husband will talk with him next week in Glasgow. The next match happened between Adam Copeland versus Stokeley Hathaway. Security dragged Stokeley Hathaway to the ring as he repeatedly tried to flee. The bell rang, and Hathaway's attempted spears failed miserably. He offered a fist bump, which Adam Copeland accepted, before decking him. Outside, Copeland humorously pulled the crowd about Stokes' short, bald, and no-hose line, even asking a woman if he had a chance, she said no. Back inside, Copeland hit a spear, then welcomed FTR before landing another. As the crowd urged him not to pin, FTR interfered. Copeland fought them off, but Hathaway threw powder in his eyes, leading to a disqualification. Adam Copeland won the match by disqualification. After the match, FTR attacked Adam Copeland, spiking him in the head with a microphone and stomping him down. Cash Wheeler climbed the ropes while Dax Harwood set Copeland up, but Christian Cage stormed in with Spike, chasing FTR off. Nick Wayne tried a chair attack, but Christian knocked it away, and Copeland speared Kip Sabian. Going back-to-back, Cage and Copeland realized the moment, initially raising weapons, then softening as Christian returned Spike to Adam. Christian started to leave, but Copeland pulled him into a hug. Edge and Christian reunited. Christian walked away, and a mysterious H signal lit the misty city sky. The next match happened between Brody King, Hiromu Takahashi, Hologram, and Tomohiro Ishii versus Don Callis family, Josh Alexander and Kyle Fletcher, and Matt Jackson and Slick Nick Jackson. The match erupted instantly with Takahashi's shotgun dropkick before chaos spilled to the floor. The Young Bucks unleashed a super kick party on Brody King and even ring announcer Justin Roberts earning a $10,000 fine each. Hologram wowed with a corkscrew tope, while Brody and Ishii bulldozed through the Callis family with powerful lariats. Momentum swung as Fletcher and Alexander hit big offense, including an Everest German suplex and a near-fall tombstone. After a flurry of dives and hard strikes, Takahashi countered, landing a super kick, fireman's carry, and a decisive Death Valley driver on Josh Alexander. Brody King, Takahashi, Hologram, and Ishii stood victorious. Renee Paquette is on stage to interview Shane Swerve Strickland after some technical difficulties. Asked if he's cleared to compete, Strickland says he's tough people, he's pushed through before, and he's not going to let it stop him from beating Okada for the AEW Unified Championship. Truth be told, he doesn't think the crowd wants him to slow or stop either, and they all want him to be champion. Enter Okada, wearing a suit that looks like your grandma's wallpaper. Okada tells Swerve that with that knee, he's got no chance. Strickland answers by simply asking the crowd whose house it is. Okada calls him a bitch, and security rushes down to break them up. Death Riders are interviewed backstage about the lights-out cage match. Jon Moxley is surprised the babyface team got Hiroshi Tanahashi, and a smile plays across his face, and his tongue pops out a little as he thanks the interviewer for her time. They walk off to the extras locker room, where the Young Bucks are recovering, and John shuts himself in there with the Bucks to, presumably, talk business. Back from commercial, Tony Schiavone makes it official Adam Copeland and Christian are back together against Nick Wayne and Kip Sabian at Forbidden Door. Also, the full lineup of the cage match is confirmed, and it'll be Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Gabe Kidd, and the Young Bucks against Darby Allin, Will Ospreay, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Golden Lovers. In the main event of the show, we saw a match between La Faction and Gobernable versus the Ops. Hobbs and Dralistico opened, with Hobbs overpowering before tagging Joe for corner jabs. Shibata entered, but LFI isolated him through the break. Back in, Shibata and Rush traded stiff strikes until a headlock STO allowed a tag to Hobbs. Powerhouse crushed Mortos and Dralistico with corner lariats before tagging Joe. Samoa Joe caught Dralistico mid-springboard, countering into the Coquina clutch. With Hobbs and Shibata keeping LFI's partners at bay, Joe forced the tap, and the result of this match was the Ops' claimed victory by submission. Hangman Page runs into Renee Paquette backstage and is informed that MJF is cashing in at Forbidden Door. Before he can say much of anything, Friedman blindsides him and beats him down, throwing him into a car and smashing his face into the hood over and over. He reminds Hanger of how he said he was going to break him and tells him he ain't seen nothing yet, and that's how the show goes off the air. How would you rate this week's AEW Dynamite show? Tell me in the comments, and thanks for watching.